Welcome back to Dry Hollow Homestead. This is Danielle, and we are getting into the kitchen and getting a couple things done. We have been taking a little bit of a postpartum break. I haven't done a whole lot in the kitchen prep wise, or just been keeping everything alive and everyone alive. I have succeeded in that, but we are going to make our first hard wheel of cheese today since our first lactation, since the beginning of this lactation, and we're going to start some bone broth in the Instapot. We're also going to make a quick dinner tonight of a pizza roll or calzone. I'm not sure what most people would call them. We call them calzones. It's just going to be a quick, easy dinner because this little guy is still getting used to mom not sitting constantly and nursing him, and he doesn't like that too much. So come along, we will get started on this busy afternoon on the homestead. So I'm starting this morning off by cleaning up some of a quiche that I had made. This is some of the leftovers, and it takes me like 4 or 5 tries to get anything done right now. My little guy is definitely enjoying to just keep mommy very close, and you can see I'm trying to put him in different carriers, just find different ways to get some things done. Unfortunately, as much as I would love to sit and snuggle him all day, every day, I do have things to get done. So I'm just cleaning, pittering around the kitchen. He is extremely strong, and he tries standing, like he's pushing himself off and standing up in all the carriers. So I have to wait till he kind of goes to sleep so I can tuck his head in, and it takes a good while. So I've cleaned up a little bit. I'm getting milk out of my fridge now. And I hope I encourage you that this home, there's lots of messes everywhere, especially during this time. And you can't do everything. So this is a priority to me to get some of this milk made into some cheese. And I'm going to go ahead and make a Gouda today. And a Gouda you can make with whole milk, but I like to scrape just the top part of that cream off for making butter. So that's what I'm going to do right here. But it's hard to do. You cannot do everything. Let's just say that nobody can, and everybody says that, and then you watch other people on YouTube or Instagram and you think, oh, they're doing so much more than I am. Oh, this is all I did this day. Like what you see me get done, that was about it. And you can see that I 1 minute have the baby on me, the next minute he's in a completely different wrap. That's because I had to stop and nurse him, settle him down a little bit, and then try again. So I hope that makes you feel like you're not the only one that has to do that. So I do scrape the cream for this Gouda. Like I said, you could do a whole milk Gouda, but I'm pretty selfish about that cream. On this day, I am starting a 5-gallon batch of Gouda, and I have a tutorial on how to make Gouda in another video, so I'm not going to go through all the process here, but it's important to me to get that made. But now look at my kitchen. So that's just the beginning part. I'm just heating my milk up now. I have to wash all these dishes. So in any homestead that you see, that's a big part of it, and maybe a little bit more for me on our homestead, because I am the only one who is home full-time. My husband, thank goodness, was home for 3 weeks for when the baby was born, and I took full advantage of that, but now he's back to work. And a lot of other homesteaders that are showing it on YouTube and other platforms, they have both husband and wife at home doing the homeschool, doing the homesteading. And this is just me, which is probably a lot like you. Most people cannot stay home full time and do this. So this is real life. This is how it looks for us, and that's probably the same with most people. So I have a long time for this milk to heat up to make this cheese, so I'm going to go ahead and get my stuff out for milking, which has been a new adventure. So lately, when my husband has gone back to work, I have had one of the other children follow me out and hold the baby right next to, after I have the baby, the cow in the stanchion and everything ready to go. They will come in and sit and hold the baby while I am milking. And I am eating some delicious coconut cream pie. I'm going to get that recipe out to you guys sometime, but it was delicious, and I'm just snacking on it the whole day, like on and off. Every time you see me with food in my mouth, I got quarter of a pie there. I'm just going to town on. So yeah, there's the state of my kitchen as I go out to milk. So it's a lot. We have there's baby Daniel. That hematoma on his head, it is actually gone now. It is completely dissipated. And I'm just showing you some more of the real life while I am trying to balance everything. This little guy doesn't want to sit still. He wants to push up and throw his head back. And he does really good at holding his head at this point. But you still have to support it a little bit, but he's trying not to let me. He really wants to be at it and moving around. He's going to be a handful, I think. But this is just showing you real life. Seriously, we just do what we can as moms, and as homesteading moms, we have even more on our plate. And sometimes we have to do less and take our time doing it, and cherish the little moments when they come up, because this little guy will not stay this size. And I want to make sure that I've soaked it all in. I keep forgetting what I'm saying because I'm watching this little one on the screen. But so we're making bone broth in today's video too. He's giving me smiles, so totally had to stop what I was doing just to get some more smiles from him. But in this video, we're also going to make some bone broth. I think I get that started here very soon. And I'm taking breaks in between and doing what I need to with my little guy. But I like making bone broth. I keep forgetting what I'm saying. Okay, sorry. I wash dishes by hand because we don't have a dishwasher. So I feel like that adds a lot to my plate when you're doing from scratch recipes like we do. And it saves us a ton of money by actually doing from scratch recipes. But it also makes a lot of dishes. And I want to make sure that I stay on top of them, because that is the easiest way for overwhelm to happen to me and maybe to you. When dishes and laundry get backed up, they just keep piling on top of each other. It's not like I can just stop doing the dishes and laundry and it just pauses. No, there's no pause. Those things, they just multiply if you pause. So I'm getting my bone broth started in my Instapot. I love doing that. I think I'm doing some ribs, beef ribs in the Instapot this time for bone broth. I don't always love cooking ribs because I'm not very good at it. I haven't got a good trick for that. But I'm throwing in scraps. I usually have scraps in my freezer in a gallon bag. Anytime I'm cutting up carrots or cutting celery or onions, I leave all my scraps in a large gallon-sized bag and throw them in the freezer. And then I throw that in the next time I'm making bone broth. So, because we're not going to be eating any of the vegetables, we're going to strain all that out before we use this broth, so that it's not, the scraps are just fine for flavor. Another thing I'm making this day is for dinner we're going to do some calzones, because a few days before this video that I filmed here, I made a mozzarella, and I think I filmed that too. So I have mozzarella in the fridge I want to use up, so we are going to make calzones. And this is just a really simple recipe for pizza dough, which you can use for calzones or pizza rolls also. But it's 1 tablespoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon of olive oil in a 1 cup of warm water. So you're just going to kind of let that proof there. And then in my bowl behind that, I'm going to start mixing together a couple cups of flour. I believe it's 2.5 cups of flour. I use all-purpose organic from Costco. We really like that flour, and it's the best price at Costco. So it's like 2.5 cups of flour, and I'll put the exact measurements down in the description below. Oh, and honey. Oops. yes, a tablespoon of honey too. So that was my guesstimation on how much honey was was supposed to be in there. And I got way too much. So I ended up pulling it out and using some of that in my tea. It was a yeasty tea, so don't do what I do and measure sometimes. But honey is hard to measure. So yeah, it's going to be 2.5 cups of flour and then a teaspoon of salt, I think is what it was. But like I said, I'll put the exact measurements down below. But that looks like 2.5, so that was a pretty good guess. And this is what I do for any kind of pizza dough that I'm using, and that works really well. So we're letting that proof there with the water, the yeast, and the olive oil and the honey. You could use sugar if you wanted, but we just have a lot of honey, so we use honey. But they are interchangeable. We're going to whisk that salt and that flour together, and then we're going to add our proofed. I think this was after about 3 or 4 minutes. Like I said, who knows with my little one. It could have been even longer. We're going to mix that, our cup of water and all the yeast, olive oil, and honey in with our flour, and then we're going to knead it just for a few minutes until it's nice and smooth. And we're going to let that rise a little bit. So I'm stirring my Gouda. Gouda is great. It's a washed curd, and it has really good flavor. It's really great for adding things like red pepper flakes, or we do a cumin Gouda or a black pepper Gouda. Gouda is just, it's really good, and it doesn't take very long to age. So I suggest if you're into cheese making, Asiago and Gouda are my first cheeses that I started with, and I really suggest them because they don't age for very long, and you get to try out your cheese quickly. I am saving the whey from that because I used a new packet of mesophilic culture from Amazon, or a store-bought culture. So I'm going to use that whey, save that whey, and I can use that to culture more cheeses. So actually, while I am doing this voiceover, I am making a cheddar cheese, traditional cheddar cheese, and I am using that whey that I had there as my culture that I started my cheddar with. So that's really good if you want to extend the life of your cultures and not spend so much money. And it works great. I've been doing that for years. And I'm rolling out this dough. So I think I made maybe 8 calzones. This is the pizza sauce that we have canned together in the past. I love having this on hand. That's my main goal with my summer garden, because we do a lot of pizzas and pasta stuff. Not even a lot of pasta, but we don't buy any kind of pasta sauce or pizza sauce. We use this interchangeably for all of those things. And that was actually canned with my reusable lids. So it's been a while since I've talked about that, but Harvest Guard reusable lids, that have a link in the description box, but that was 2 years ago, and I had an awful time trying to get that seal broken. It was sealed really, really well. So we're just going to put a little bit of that pizza sauce in the center, and then we're going to do our homemade mozzarella from the other day. I didn't even shred it. I seriously just pulled it apart, and I'm adding it to the center. It will melt beautifully anyway. A couple pieces of pepperoni, store-bought. I wish there was a clean way to have pepperoni. If you know of such things, let me know. This is just Great Value brands pepperoni, but man, pepperonis are delicious. I'm not really ready to give that up. I guess we could switch to our butchered pork sausage for that, but man, pepperoni's just good. And then you try to seal up the sides. I'm not doing anything fancy with sealing up the sides, just getting it done. This baby is asleep, so it's like a marathon to get everything done that I can while he is contented. And I'll do, I think, like I said, I think I ended up doing 8 of them out of that one thing of dough. I should have doubled that recipe for my dough for sure, because I could have went even further with my cheese and pepperoni and sauce. So I've actually done all of my steps to my Gouda off camera, and I'm just getting it into the press now, which is one of the most satisfying things, I think, is when it actually starts to take the shape and of your wheel, and you're nearly done.